Welcome, everybody. Good to have you here. So we are coming to the end of our daily practice sessions. Tomorrow will be the last one. We have been going for the last over 100 days. We'll go till tomorrow will be the 108th day. I like the number 108. And thank you. Many of you have actually been with me the whole time. So I appreciate your resilience and staying power. And this was designed as something that could support us during this time with a lot of, I began just about the time the second wave was hitting India. So I could see a lot of despair and a lot of sadness and a lot of fear. So I thought we'll do something like this. So happy to have had this opportunity to share these things. And of course, I'm also benefited in the process of supporting each one of you. So let's get into today's practice. Sit comfortably. The name for today's session is All Granted. All granted. I have a friend who, if you happen to say something in front of him like, oh, I wish I could go on a holiday there, or, oh, I wish I had that, or I wish I could do that, he just smiles and says, granted. And it's a nice way of reminding us that, what's holding us back? What's holding us back? So granted, granted to yourself. And before the call began today, I was speaking to another friend of mine, and she was asking for some support in some aspects of her life. So I reminded her that there are 24 hours in a day, and of course there are responsibilities and things to be taken care of, but can we take out at least an hour to allow ourselves to just dream without limits, without worrying about how it'll happen, when it'll happen, what's holding us back? I often visualize this as a car with acceleration pedal and brake pedal. Accelerator pedal is like the yes, and the brake pedal is like the but. Now imagine driving your car where you accelerate for 2 or 3 seconds and then right away you press the brake. It's like, yes, I'd like that, but. Yes, I'd like that, but. I'd like to do that, but I don't have enough money. I'd like to do that, but I'm not healthy enough. I'd like to do that, but I'm too old. I'd like to do that, but how would it happen? So yes, but. Imagine being in a car like that, how unpleasant the ride would be. Accelerate and brake, accelerate and brake, accelerate and brake. So why not just allow ourselves to accelerate for a while without pressing the but? So I invited my friend to just allow the yes, just the yes. So I want to use today's session to get some of you to practice this feeling of yes, yes. And don't worry about the buts and hows and what will it mean and when will it happen. Just come into the vibrational space, the mental emotional space of it's all here, granted. It's all here to be granted. A lot of people who are teaching these kinds of things nowadays, they talk about how what's really holding us back is just our unwillingness to receive. That's what really holds us back, nothing else. It's all there. It's like it's just hovering over your head and you're not ready to receive it. So let it in, let it in, let it in. So let me guide you through this process. As you might have noticed, almost every night here, we've had a different process, and some of them might even seem contradictory, but don't worry about that. When you're doing something, do it wholeheartedly. There is a place where everything is in perfect symmetry, everything's in perfect alignment. And we don't have to get into that philosophical discussion right now, but just know that when doing something, do it wholeheartedly, do it lightheartedly, and do it playfully. And that's the right approach. The summary of everything I share comes down to two things: awareness and love. Awareness and love. Or you could say being present and being a master storyteller. Attention and intention. Different ways of saying the same thing. So all these different practices are in some way illuminating these two aspects. And together, attention, intention reveals our foundation, who we really are, which is beyond description, which is not something you practice. That's where all practices culminate. All right, now back to practice. So for the rest of the session, I invite you to disable the brake pedal of your car. The brake pedal represents but. How can it happen? When will it happen? I don't deserve it. Don't have enough of this or enough of that. Which is disabling the brake pedal. And all we have is the accelerator pedal, the yes pedal. And if some of you want to, for this session, you're welcome to also use the comment section. I'll keep looking at the comment section. You can make it slightly interactive. So go ahead. If I give you the assurance that whatever you vocalize, visualize, emotionalize is going to get actualized, if I give you that assurance, then what kind of a fantastic, amazing, beautiful, expansive world do you want to create? Just go for yes. This has to do with your life. This has to do with every aspect of your life. This has to do with also your larger life, your community, your world, your planet. And there's nothing that's out of bounds. Everything's included. Your finances are included. Your work is included. Your relationships are included. Everything is included. What's the BPO? Best possible outcome. And just know that it's all granted. It's all granted. It's all granted in more mysterious ways than you may realize. So whatever you're thinking of, I invite you to really tune into it. Wouldn't it be fun if? Wouldn't it be fun if? How nice to imagine if you were in school and the teacher said, you know what? You're all allowed to daydream today. You're all allowed to daydream today. Normally we say, hey, stop looking out of the window. Look at what we're teaching over here. But imagine if the teacher said, you're all allowed to daydream today. Dream the wildest dreams, most expansive dreams. And that's the kind of thing I'm offering you tonight. Allow yourself to press the yes pedal, the acceleration pedal. Wouldn't it be fun if? So some people are sharing, like the movie, the Navi tribe in the movie Avatar, where everything and everyone is coexisting in harmony. Another one is each loves the other. It's a harmonious world. Humans are coexisting with animals, nature, and wildlife, loving and respecting each one. So what's an expansive thought for you? What's a heart-opening thought for you? What's a miraculous thought for you? Wouldn't it be fun if we just took out an hour a day to just be expansive? I heard about these tribes in South America. They wake up early in the morning, like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, and they just discuss their dreams. How fascinating. They just sit together and they discuss, what did you dream? What did you dream? What did you dream? And for them, the dream world is no less important than the waking world. Swami Beyond Ananda, comedian from the US, says, all we need to resolve all the problems is TV. People say, TV? Isn't TV part of the problem? He says, no. And that's where I tell you my vision, television, and you tell me your vision, television. I like that. So what's it like to feel your vision, see your vision, and if you like, tell your vision? I'm not getting any thoughts, not even if or but. Beautiful. That's totally fine. Enjoy. But you have permission to have a thought if you want to. How nice to just disable the brake pedal for a while. So you can just accelerate as far and as in whatever direction you like. Imagine a community where it was all right to come together for an hour a day and talk about the most unbelievable things, the most limitless things, the most expansive things, even the most illogical things. Why not? Why is that not allowed? Everything's allowed. So what is it? Imagine a community where for an hour a day or more, we were allowed to talk about all kinds of possibilities and return to that childlike state. No one's judging you for what you're thinking or believing or wanting or hoping. This would really awaken our deeper potentials. How much of it remains stifled that, oh, if I say that, they'll think I'm funny. They'll think I'm stupid. They'll think I'm crazy. In fact, in a way, these 108 days, these nightly practices, I had a chance to do that. I had a chance to just explore in any direction I wanted, as some of you have seen. And hasn't that been fun? Very often I had no clue what I talk about. My older daughter, for the longest time, woke up every morning sharing her dreams in detail over tea, over breakfast, which we had heard her out more deeply. Oh, nice. Please talk more about dreams. You know, in the Indian tradition, they believe that this waking world is the most deluded. Dreams are slightly less deluded. The deep dreamless sleep is even less deluded. And then there's the fourth state, it's called Turiya. That is even less deluded. And then there's something beyond Turiya, Turiya Tit, and that is the freedom. So from waking state to dreaming state to dreamless state to beyond the three, and then beyond that as well. So it's dreams within dreams within dreams. It's a nested dream, dreams within dreams within dreams. So whether or not you're having many thoughts, it's fine. Just know that it's an expansive time. It's a time of all is granted. How nice to have that sense that all is granted. My heart certainly feels open. There's a lovely process called quaker silence, in which we gather together, and there's actually a religious movement called Quakers as well, and that's their main way of practicing their prayer. But anybody can do it. You just gather together as a group, and you have a pre-decided time, could be 1 hour. You sit together and Quaker silence. Now, this is not the kind of silence where you're not allowed to speak. In this silence, you are allowed to speak only if you're moved to speak. That's why it's called Quakers. Something inside of you has to move, right? So if you're moved to share something, then say it. Otherwise, just enjoy being quiet. Quaker silence. Speak to improve on the silence. Speak if you're guided from the silence, by the silence, to improve on the silence. So one thing fascinating, even people who never meditate, when they come for a session like this, they're like, wow, the fact that I didn't have to speak, I didn't have to remain silent. Like I could speak if I wanted to. It's like an automatic meditative state. Just keep checking, do I need to say this? Am I moved to say this, or is it just a passing thought? So just like the experience of Quaker silence, where you're allowed to speak, but only if you're moved to speak. For many people, that's an automatic meditative state. In the same way, today's practice, where you're allowed to dream, allowed to have anything if you want to. All is granted. So many of you are commenting that, oh, can't think of much. That's really amazing. And that doesn't stop you if the next moment you do think of something, then go ahead, not stopping you. But just notice how strange the mind is. Fascinating. So we've deactivated the brake pedal, the butt pedal. All we have is the yes pedal, the accelerator pedal. So either be quiet or think of something that's expansive. There's no place for how can it happen, when will it happen? None of that. Just take a break from that kind of thinking for whatever time you're practicing. Beautiful. So what's it like to allow yourself some time every day? Could be an hour, could be half an hour, could be 5 minutes, could be whatever. Allow yourself to press that accelerator without the brake. Whatever intention you have, aspiration you have, could be for yourself, for the larger humanity, could be for all of creation, doesn't matter. Come into alignment with it as though it's already so. And then make it even more expansive. Even more expansive. On Sunday, my friend's doing a session on Batch flower remedies. And she told me that Dr. Batch, when he was a kid, he used to have this intention that may everyone who's suffering, may their suffering be alleviated. And that intention made him a doctor. And then he was not totally happy with the way that was going. So then he learned homeopathy. He was quite successful at that, but he was not completely satisfied. And then he was guided to learn from the flowers. And he made 38 remedies. And the reason I'm mentioning this is that his intention as a child to find a way to help everybody, alleviate their suffering, he found a way to do it. It actually happened. Very precise teaching of 38 flowers and how they alleviate a variety of conditions. So Samira will share with us over 3.5 hours. So the point I'm making is, if his intention could come true, then certainly our intentions can also come true. But do we have a clear intention? What if the universe doesn't speak English or Hindi or Marathi or French or German or Spanish or Chinese? What if the universe speaks language of vibration, language of emotion, language of resonance? What if that's the language the universe understands? Then what are we putting out? What you put out, what you get back multiplied. How wonderful. Allowing ourselves to dream, knowing that all is granted, putting aside the inner critic, putting aside the how will it happen and will it happen. That has its place, but not all the time. Not all the time. In Edward de Bono's classification, what we are doing is something like green hat thinking. There are 6 thinking hats. You don't have to wear all 6 at a time. The black hat, which is always focusing on what can go wrong and what's the problem and what's the limitation. Like the pessimistic hat, the black hat. There's the green hat of what's possible, ideas, possibilities. There's the yellow hat of all that can go right and what you're thankful for and what's going well and what's supporting and our strengths. There's the red hat of our emotions. And then there's the blue hat, which ties everything else, all the other hats together. And there's also a white hat for facts, data and facts. 6 thinking hats. Black hat, green hat, yellow hat, red hat, white hat, blue hat. It's a good way of structuring our being, and maybe we're too stuck in one hat. Some people are stuck in black hat thinking all the time. All that can go wrong, all that can go wrong. Maybe balance it out with some yellow hat thinking. All that can go right, all that can go right, all that's good. And green hat, some new ideas, creativity, expansiveness. Completely new lateral thinking ideas. Completely new ways to approach this. Never considered before. White hat, facts. Red hat, emotions. Blue hat, tying all the other hats in like the sky. Good stuff. So today was somewhere between yellow hat and green hat thinking. All right. If anybody wants to ask me something, you can put it in the questions area. Tomorrow is going to be our last session, so I just thought I'd take a few questions today, in case there are any questions. Happy to answer. Join us for our grand finale tomorrow. When are you coming back? I should be back after 23rd. I'm going to Kashmir. How to forgive people. I don't think it's about forgiving people. I think it's more about getting curious about your way of thinking. and recognizing how moment to moment it's our thinking that's troubling us, not the people. People may have done whatever they've done, and we're not saying that they're right, but even people who were tortured were asked what was the worst part, and they said the worst part was our own thoughts. So it's not what they were doing, it's your own thoughts. Even people who are actually getting physically tormented, they say it's our own thoughts, not so much what happened. So how about forgiving yourself? How about understanding how you torment yourself? So yeah, there are many ways to forgive, and one of the simplest ways is that life is so short. If you knew that person you're angry with is going to die today, would you really hold the grudge? In most cases, we let it go. It's okay, forget it. Life is a short journey. Why are we filling our hearts with these kinds of resentments? So that's what I'd say. Start by forgiving yourself. Are you planning on starting the daily practice again? I'm not sure. Let's see how it goes. Sometimes when I'm trying to do green hat thinking, the white hat facts and the reality keeps popping up. How to stop that from happening? It's okay if it pops up. To notice that is also metacognition, to notice your own thinking. So it doesn't matter if it pops up. Just go back to what you're doing. Like this, your capacity gets stronger. How do we make dreams into reality? Reality itself is a dream. When you realize reality itself is a dream, then you find that it's all very malleable. Start seeing reality as a dream. That's what I'd say. Thank you. Every day has been a gift. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Yeah. How do we see people complete and good in whatever way they are, even if my mind says that they can improve? So the formula I use is Satyam Shivam Sundaram, which means Satyam is true and Shivam is auspicious or good, and Sundaram is beautiful. So see things as Satyam Shivam Sundaram, see things as true, good, and beautiful. And if you can't see them for whatever reason, then you bless them. May you be whole. And what is whole? Wholeness has three characteristics. Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram. So I bless you with, right now you're not there. I don't see you as being there. I bless you with Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram. That's one way you can approach this. Good, everybody. Very nice. It seems to be the end of the questions. Nice. All right, so you have access to these 108 practices in our YouTube channel, and some of this also on Instagram. And then, of course, there's a 6-month course, which is also there from earlier, Rise in Peace. There's plenty of resources available. I think there are over 100 meditations on SoundCloud as well. There's no shortage of resources, as you know. Main thing is to just make time for nourishing yourself and take care of yourself, and everything else falls in place. It doesn't have to be very complicated. Keep it simple. When I first began teaching, I only shared 3 things, listen deeply, love deeply, and enjoy deep silence. That's all I talk about. Deep listening, deep love, and deep silence. That's a pretty good curriculum. You can stick to that. And then from there, everything else comes. There's a nice story the Buddha gives where he says that he held up a handful of leaves and he asked the monks, "Monks, what's more, the leaves in my hand or the leaves in this forest?" They said, "What are you saying, Lord? The leaves in your hand are few. The leaves in this forest are many, many leaves. You can't even count them." He said, "Just so, monks. What I know is like the leaves in the forest. But what I share with you is like the leaves in my hand." The monks are perplexed. Why would you only share this much with us? He says, "Because this is enough for you to know, to direct knowledge, all the leaves in the forest." How beautiful. So the Buddha doesn't have to tell you everything he knows. He would rather tell you how you can access everything that is knowable. So even though we have shared many different tools and processes and practices here, you can keep it simple. You don't have to try to do everything. Just take one or two or three. That's good enough. Keep it light, keep it simple, keep flowing. Ultimately, we have to come to the place where there's no practice and no teacher and no teaching and no scripture. They're all pointers. When you get to the destination, the map doesn't have much value anymore. So the whole point is to come to the middle of the middle, the center of the center, and then let go of that as well. Because when you are in your center, you spontaneously have access to all your learning, all your knowledge, all your wisdom, and you're the best expression of who you are. And that's a channel of blessings. So don't try to replicate anybody. Don't try to replicate me. Don't try to replicate others. That would be a mistake. Because if you try to replicate, you'll always be a second-rate replica. Replica can never be as good as the original. Better to be yourself. Why be yourself? Because everyone else is taken. And there's a reason why you are the way you are. No mistake about that. And your job is to discover that reason. That'll only happen when we put away self-criticism and self-judgment and self-doubt. And we start showing up. And whatever we do know, we practice that to the best of our ability. We keep tuning in and keep listening. Nisargadatta Maharaj said, this is less a process of acquiring. It's more a process of shedding. The secret to success, he said, the secret to success is a steady resistance to the unnecessary. How beautiful. The steady resistance to the unnecessary is the secret of success. Nice. Thank you all. Infinite blessings. Infinite blessings. With that, we can end today's session. How wonderful. Have a good rest. Thank you, thank you, thank you. How do I accept myself fully? Accept yourself as fully as you accept yourself. Good.